Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watch the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If a ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. The Buccaneers are still at the top of a mountain of shit. As reigning lords of the NFC South, they had a few questions to answer. What happens with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans? They were both key pieces to their playoff push last season. Baker's revival was worthy of reward. Despite countless suitors, the answer to those questions? They're both back. Mike Evans has been re-inked to keep him in the red and black. And Baker's recouped some of the money that was lost to him after playing with injury in Cleveland. It's an inspiring feel-good story, kind of like the Bucs. Levante David's back in the fold as well. Same as Antoine Winfield. And there's Jordan Whitehead coming home to the secondary that made him a champion as well. Despite losing some old stalwarts, their mission is complete. Now to simply prepare for the draft and season ahead.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Graham Barton, center Duke.
This one is super obvious. Tampa Bay needed a starting center. Ryan Jensen was forced to retire due to injury. Barton is one of the best centers on the board. As simple as 2 + 2. Quest to defend their NFC South Division title made of zirconia is a noble one, and the Bucs have to keep Baker and company upright. I'm more of a Jackson Powers Johnson guy, but Barton should be pretty solid too. Always up to fortify the trenches. A lot of teams this round are. Comforting sight to Bucs fans to see their team at the top. Who needs Brady? Apparently they don't. They'll take advantage of a cupcake division and allow Todd Bowles to keep his job. The Baker to Mike Evans connection is running swimmingly, but how much does Mike have left in the tank? Will they find the true replacement to Ryan Jensen? That's going to be the real difference between another title and letting other mediocrity take hold. How much of their success last year was legitimate and how much was mere luck? Their division was incredibly pathetic, and they can't face an imploding Eagles team in the playoffs every year. Tampa Bay just can't be Randy Gregory and no-show everything. Even the slouches in this league have some punch. Part of me is anticipating regression, especially with losing more than a few pieces on defense. Whether it comes to pass is another entirely. We did say the same thing about them last year. As you can tell, things are a bit less linear than in the past. New suitors are eager to stake the claim from the usual suspects. But the ones at the top will only relinquish such honor from their cold, lifeless hands. I think this year is a little of both. The NFC East has always been a conference that changes hands every year, so the Eagles will reclaim it for themselves. As for the NFC North, different story. I say Detroit reclaims it, but a few teams are hot on their tail. The NFC South, the conference we wish could be erased, goes to Atlanta simply by no Arthur Smith. And the NFC West, barring horrific injury, will be San Francisco's to lose yet again. Wildcards are a much trickier guess. Yet I believe that Green Bay, Dallas, and Chicago take them. There are more than a few teams that I consider for these 3 spots, so I'm not dismissing them at all. But the NFC's just weird like that. It'll probably be wonkier than I expect. A new era begins for Washington yet again. Jaden Daniels will lead them to a fantastic sunrise. That day was definitely not today. They didn't get anything going offensively until garbage time, and by that point, Tampa Bay was already off the field and sipping on margaritas in the Florida sun. They enjoy them by the baker's dozen. Mayfield's resurgence is not only bringing the Bucs life, it's proving that he may have been the one carrying Dave Canales to a huge payday. 4 touchdowns dominating both the commies and Jimmy Haslam for casting him off to the abyss. To be honest, that's all they really needed. Washington's been a work in progress for roughly 15 years now. Tampa just had to show up and they probably would have won by 10. Baker needs to prove to Cleveland they made a mistake, though. I respect the grind. Detroit's just running through grudge matches so far. Is this title defense mode or something? Like the Rams, the Bucs are a formidable foe that will match wits with them at every turn. Baker only desires revenge. Not just for last January, but for all the slights. He, along with a healthy dose of Chris Godwin, will guide Tampa to their guiding light. Detroit's counterattack is Aiden Hutchinson. That's all they really need. Hutchinson's wreaking havoc with 5 sacks, pretty much the main reason why the Lions are still in this game. He's proving himself among the elite of the league. You only wish that for the man under center in the Motor City. Jared. Sir, why the fuck are you throwing this ball? There isn't a receiver within 10 yards and the closest one isn't even paying attention. Don't go back to 2021 Rams form, I beg of you. It forces Detroit to try yet again. And the Bucs defense bends and bends but refuses to break. They force a turnover on downs in the red zone. Even as Dan Campbell's smart timeout management gives his team another chance, Tampa Bay holds firm and refuses to let go. Perhaps we were overestimating the easiness of last year's schedule. A most impressive win by them. Detroit isn't exactly a slouch and they brought them to heel. Well done. There will be greater challenges ahead, but a 2-0 start is always welcome in this gauntlet. Let this game set the stage for how little logic and reasonable thought was considered in this week of NFL football. Raise your hand if you thought Denver had a snowball's chance in hell of winning this week. Against a strong Buccaneers team on the road? Even the most hopium-loaded fan in the Rocky Mountains was doubting their power. But then the game happened. Bucs? What the fuck? You go from dominating NFC contenders to being mauled by the Broncos? They didn't just start flat-footed, their legs were glued to the track before the starting gun. Baker Mayfield, for the crime of redeeming his career, has been sentenced to death behind this O-line. 7 sacks. The Broncos reverted to 2015 form with 7 sacks. I know Tampa Bay's dealing with injuries, but this was pathetic. Bo Nix looked presentable with a clean pocket and room to run. Do you know how bad you have to be to have that happen? All I can guess is that Tampa Bay looked past their opponent and suffered the consequences. Denver didn't just win, they annihilated whatever poorly equipped soul was in front of them. Maybe there is hope there after all. Imagine after the utter ass-whooping the Bucs put on Philly last January, Nick Sirianni would have had his team dialed in to maintain divisional supremacy. Don't worry, I've got jokes for days. Mainly what the Eagles allegedly called an offense here. Tampa Bay came for blood and got more than their fair share. Philly didn't get any offensive yards for the first quarter and a half. Yeah, you're without your 2 best wideouts, but why not use Saquon in some fashion? Be better than Jalen Hurts going on his famous Jameis Odyssey. Baker Mayfield just took their team logo and wiped his ass with it. After one of the ugliest wins in about a week, Eagles' victory chose to become an endangered species. Sirianni the Clown had his men so prepared for battle that they charged headfirst with a bathrobe and slippers. All but asleep and dead on the first charge. Slaughtered at their own game. Oh, they weren't ready, you say? No fucking shit! Tampa Bay, you have your bounce-back game. Well done on putting these guys back in their place. NFC South football generates some barn burners in at least 4 contests a year. The hatred that consumes foes from all walks of life is something that must be embraced. And this contest emphasizes such an adversarial nature. Here we see something rarer than the lunar eclipse. An exhilarating Thursday night football game. I'm as shocked as you are. It appears that the NFL told both defenses to simply not do much of anything. They're allowed a play or 2 here or there, but we need peak NFC South football to commence. This is what the Falcons bake our cousins for. He's dissecting this defense as if they're a frog in a middle school science class. Tampa Bay's banged up on the defending 11. Kirk likes that. He likes that a lot. Nearly everyone in Atlanta's offense is eating tonight. Yes, even Kyle Pitts. Stats may be for losers, but the full power is being showcased. But Tampa Bay is going to keep this as tight as possible. Baker will bake and the Bucs will be opportunistic, despite their opposition's might. Sterling Shepard has scored a touchdown in 2024. That's how bonkers this game has been. Hell, Tampa Bay even has the lead in the fourth quarter. But Atlanta will be steadfast. And with Cousins at the helm, they'll keep going. Oh no, Darnell! You were having a great game, yet the Bears came back to you at the worst time. Of course the ensuing field goal try's blocked. Did you expect competency? All the Bucs have to do is clamp down and the game is theirs.
He has it. And the ball is out!
Soon enough, the only place we'll find Bucky Irving is on a milk carton. Fortunately, it doesn't hurt them. Their defense did a job and forced a crucial turnover on downs deep in Falcon territory. Now, as long as they don't completely fuck up the drive to the point of pushing them out of field goal range, Tampa Bay... Are you shitting me? You executed the worst case scenario? Do you understand who you're against? The man who's going to imprison you with ball and chains. It's over 400 yards of passing on the day. What did you expect? They're in field goal range. Hell, they'll take a delay of game penalty. The inevitable will still strike.
And overtime.
Young Wei Koo. Respect the goddamn name. We're headed to overtime and the Falcons get ball first. Too bad for Tampa Bay, the Falcons aren't into sharing. They're into stealing wins and escaping danger.
That's fired, that's caught, and that is Hodge! And Hodge is going to take it to the end zone!
Arthur Smith was right, and Darryl Hodge really did need his reps. Tampa Bay honestly deserved to lose. If you can't finish a fucking game when it's right in front of you, you fumble it like Bucky Irving. Stats are for losers? Well, Kirk just threw for over 500 yards and broke the Falcons' all-time record. He more than likes that. Oh, you awoke the beast. Beware, NFL. You're in trouble. The darkest hour, the best quarterback in the 2024 NFL Draft will be making his long-awaited debut. No, not Drake May, but Spencer Rattler. He will hold his own. Barely. Too bad the rest of the Saints franchise got ran over by the same car that took out their QB. Tampa Bay was eager for blood. They had to evacuate for the cesspool on Tuesday morning, and hotel beds are a pain in the ass. The Bucs will roar out to a 17-point lead since New Orleans remembered their head coach is Dennis Allen. But then things got fucky. Rashid Shaheed pulled off a punt return for the ages, and Baker decided to imitate famous Jameis with receivers that can't catch for some reason. Before you know it, the Saints had the lead? How? What the hell are they leading at half? Someone give the Bucs a Snickers. They aren't themselves without it. That definitely worked. Tampa Bay came into the second half after gaining energy and burst their opponent into the ether. Spencer got rattled. Tampa Bay incinerated everything like hell itself, and the Saints defense curled up into the fetal position. I know New Orleans is dealing with injury, but giving up almost 600 yards of offense? Are you fucking kidding me? Remember when everyone was crowning them as contenders after beating Carolina on a Mike Zimmer defense? Well, they've lost 4 straight since then with no end in sight. It's standard Saints fare. Showing an appearance of holiness while being as bland and brittle as a communion wafer. Tampa Bay proved themselves as better. To get rid of the sloppiness, and the division should be for the crew. Hungry teams are never satisfied. The Buccaneers may be eager to assert themselves as true contenders, but Baltimore's on a long revenge tour. They want a bit more of a challenge, so they'll spot Tampa a 10-point lead early. That's good enough. Unleash the hounds of hell. Marlon Humphrey ending Baker's hopes on 2 consecutive drives. Lamar ending whatever hopes they had as a whole. Tampa's reeling from natural disasters, and the Ravens rub their faces in it. Total destruction and mayhem for 60 minutes. Absolute domination to the tune of 500 yards of offense. Want a dagger? Here's a king to drive it in for you. Tampa Bay's chance to move above their station was lost. And there's no shame in it. Someone forgot to tell Todd Bowles. He obviously had Baker on his fantasy team and padded his stats in an overly long garbage time session. Good job, buddy. You not only lost the game, you lost Chris Godwin for the year with a dislocated ankle. The game was over the moment it became 41-18, and the foolish never say die mentality got one of your best weapons killed. That's probably his last game as a Buck, too. At least you have Mike Evans to pick up the slack. What the hell do you mean he got injured, too? Oh, god damn it, Todd, you fucking idiot! The Buccaneers are starting to buckle. Part of it's due to their own hastily crafted design, but a lot of things have gone awry. Baker Mayfield stands alone. and he has no receivers left to throw to. It's the Sterling Shepard show now. So he got predictably injured too. It's National Tight End Day, so welcome to the Otten Hour. There isn't much to be done since Atlanta's going to crush you under their boot like they did a few weeks ago. Kyle Pitts finally had a game worthy of his draft pedigree. As long as he narrowly escapes Deshaun Jacksoning the ball in the end zone. You might as well call Kirk Cousins a British consort because he loves sinking pirate ships. Buccaneer defense is falling to his arm one by one. If he could play them every week, the dude would make Tom Brady look like an amateur. This isn't to slight Baker Mayfield. He did everything he could to rally Tampa Bay back to life, but Atlanta was always one step ahead of their adversary. More importantly, the Falcons have tiebreaker by sweeping the season series. A division title is that much closer to reality. Falcons look good so far. Don't fuck it up this year, boys.
Tampa Bay, you may have no wide receivers, but I have bad news.
You're going into Kansas City. This is all but a guaranteed loss since they have the favor of both the gods and their servants donning zebra stripes. And it's not going to be a quick or clean death either. It's going to be one of agony. Chiefs are best known for it this year. They like their opponents to squirm. It makes them taste better. Quiet first half leads to a false sense of security. Let the crew have the lead. Buccaneers make for good sport when they're up by 7. Then they attack. This comes in the form of dinks and dunks that would make New England proud. They learned from their hated rival. The ultimate demoralization. 2 pounding drives as unforgiving as the rain falling down on the ground to take the lead. Tremble in fear. The nukes are going off at Arrowhead. Yet there's a twist since the league's addicted to close games and drama. You'd think it'd be over, but Samaje Perine malfunctioned thanks to a forced jolt by what's probably the NFL itself. Tampa's getting another chance. Poor Baker's trying everything he can to win this. A solid comeback throwing to the likes of Cade Otton and Sterling Shepard. Amazing catch, by the way. Trey Palmer and Ryan Miller. Apparently he changed sports after an excellent hockey career. Foles doesn't go for the kill since he lacks power. The game is tied. But sucks for them, they left too much time for Mahomes. So they fucked it up and we're going to overtime? Figures. Of course the Chiefs are going to get the ball first. You think they'll let it go? Fuck no, man. They'll put together another demoralizing Patriots-esque drive that dinks and dunks and doinks their opponents into a figure 4 leg lock. There's no rope to save you. The time's come to tap out and submit.
Caliendo comes in, he's eligible. Here is Hunt for the touchdown. Kansas City remains unbeaten.
And that is how the Buccaneers lost their 3rd straight. The bullshit is always real in Kansas City. Couldn't you have just made this a blowout so it was a quick segment for Sportsball? You really have to imitate the fisherman from that Geico commercial all the damn time? Everyone's just getting annoyed with it. Welcome to 8-0. They may have killed New England, but their spirit infected another host. The long-awaited debut has arrived. CMC went to Germany and came back with fresh ligaments harvested from a Chinese political prisoner. He's a sight for sore eyes, too. Both the Niners and Bucks desperately need this win. Both groups are reeling from suboptimal starts. And Tampa Bay's run isn't getting any easier here. The Niners are going to get off to their typical strong start, but this is going to be a grindy sort of game. Both teams are reeling from injury. They lack the typical strength for such a necessary endeavor. San Fran throws a few punches and Tampa Bay fakes submission. And this is exactly according to their plan. What should be a relatively relaxed Niners victory is undone by Tampa's resolve and willpower. Their previous clampings will be no match for Baker and his ragtag bunch. Not to mention that Jake Moody decided that now would be a good time to replay the Moody Blues. 3 times altogether. Spent a 3rd rounder on this guy? He's an inconsistent mess. No wonder why Debo's ready to kill him in the long snapper. San Francisco may be up by 3, but the Bucks are steadfast. Baker Mayfield is a goddamn animal. Being clumped by a Bosa, and he still trumps his power with the conversion for the ages. And they'll keep it going all the way down to the red zone itself. They've made it to the precipice of the goal line. But for whatever reason, Tampa Bay can't break this defense. They're forced to settle for a field goal to tie. And there's too much time on the clock. The Niners have the ability to earn another chance as they get into field goal range. Oh, God. They have to trust Jake Moody. Brace for impact.
Kick is up and in. It's up and through. It's good. The 49ers win it.
Well, Jake definitely lives up to his namesake. He will We'll only accept a golden sombrero, not a platinum one. This potentially job-saving kick causes the Buccaneers to lose their 4th straight in extremely painful fashion. Baker's trying everything to will this team to a win, yet this stubborn mule won't drink from its trough. And then Tristan Wirfs randomly gets crushed by machinery. This is looking to be a frustrating season for the Bucs. Everything conspiring against them, even the elements they can't control. What a brutal way to go. Just had to face the Niners, didn't you? Too bad fate doesn't care for underdogs. San Fran can attest. Giants fans, just look away. Don't bother to turn on the TV for the remainder of the year. And probably some of next year, too. This team ain't just bad. They're reaching Joe Judge levels of incompetence. Turns out it's the perfect antidote to get Tampa Bay back on the horse. That and Mike Evans returning from injury.
Unit ready.
A sight for sore eyes. Same as feasting on Tommy DeVito and whatever they call an offensive line. Bucky and Baker shredding them at every angle. The Buccaneers didn't just trade the booty, they ravaged the shit out of it at will. Absolute annihilation in every single metric of the word. MetLife Stadium is a place where everything goes to die. New York more than knows that. This season was long dead, but Tampa ripped it apart like the Trop's roof. All they care about is getting back to relevance in the NFC South. And they humiliated their opponent all game long. Baker's even better than Tommy at his touchdown celebration. It's over, G-Men. Fold everything up and dismantle it like the Department of Education. I don't know if Dable and Sheen survived this onslaught. Malika Neighbors isn't getting the ball and causing a ruckus in the locker room. We're reaching free medium soda territory and I'm not being hyperbolic. Just pay attention to the Knicks or something, New York. It'll help numb the pain. What the hell do you mean they're struggling too? The NFC South is such a chaotic mess at this point that the Panthers have a modest chance of swiping it away. Figured Tank Division was in the past, but that might revive. Atlanta's a wreck. New Orleans is mired in their own misery, and Tampa Bay can't stop being undone by injuries and Todd Bowles. Today's problem was more the former than anything. Baker is visibly hurting. I don't know how anyone couldn't tell with how he was wincing in pain on roughly every third play. It was the worst performance from him in years. And it makes sense as to why. Thank the Lord for Bucky Irving. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a struggle to get anything going for both sides. Defense rules the day as neither quarterback can truly find pay dirt. Bryce has his limitations at this level and Baker's just limited by health. Any chance for either team stuffed at the goal line like the Panthers are. But Tampa Bay has the talent advantage. And more on their side. When in doubt, give it to Bucky. The 1-point lead things are most certainly perilous in the fourth quarter. Once again, thank God above for the man known as Bucky Irving. So what do the Bucs do once they get to the goal line? Not give the ball to Bucky Irving. Great logic there, guys. You cost yourselves a touchdown. Here's a field goal to celebrate. Now, it'd be awfully convenient if your defense manages to break down at the worst possible time thanks to Bryce Young's revival. Perfect. You mean they did? How absolutely shocking. The Panthers have the lead. Unbelievable. It's here where Baker manages to will this franchise with whatever's left of his health to field goal range. That's all they can ask for.
Chase McLaughlin, the kick, it's up! It's through!
We're headed to overtime. It's far from the prettiest outcome, but the Bucs still have a chance. And they'll get ball first to prove it. A chance to avoid unbelievable embarrassment. They get to long-distance field goal range and can suffice with a dub. But Chase McLaughlin can't make magic happen twice. Carolina has a chance to make memes happen. They're gonna do it. The Panthers, a team left for dead in September, about to stun a hated rival with the arm of Bryce Young. He's no longer a total loss. He's developing. It's incredible. Go forth and win, my friends.
Already in field goal range, and they go to 2 ball. Ball's out! Ripped out by the Bucs, and Diaby is on it!
Are you shitting me? The game was in the palm of your hand, and you trip over a stoop. Fucking Chubba Hubbard. I don't care if that's not the pronunciation, that's how it should be. And thanks to his colossal faux pas, Tampa Bay is an opening to fund their own bailout. Bucky Irving once again wrecks the defense with his feet, and then they find a way to get back to 500.
It's up and through, and the Bucs pull it out in overtime in Carolina.
You can have nothing wholesome in this world. God damn it. It's that time of the year again. The playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. The NFC's a bit tighter. The Motor City currently leads the pack, but Philly's hot on their tail.
The division ranks are pretty safe otherwise. Seattle and Atlanta hold claim to some very weak conferences this year. That means Minnesota and Green Bay have the potential to feast if the cards fall right for them. Washington got off a cold streak and comfortably hold the final seed in the meantime. At 6-6, the Bucs, Cardinals, and Rams still have a shot, especially in their divisions. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Dallas, and New Orleans are clinging on for dear life. And I mean it. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
The G-Men have serious competition for that number 1 spot. Las Vegas might wish this season were over, but Antonio Pierce is the finest tank master that might be out of a job after the year. Tampa Bay did their best to piss away this game with Baker doing his best famous Jameis impression, but the Raiders will never be denied their grand prize. They control their own destiny to the first overall pick. The players and coaches may rebuff such a glory, but the future is what really matters. They will do everything in their power to lose this contest, even if it means suffering horrific injury. AOC, your efforts as tanker-in-chief are failing Vegas in their time of need. Their executives will hire a hitman to force you out of commission for the year. They desire a real tank commander, and that man is Desmond Ridder. Perfection in the art of securing number 1. Tampa Bay eventually gets their shit together and pulls away to secure a lead in the divisional clown car known as the NFC South. It's been ugly, and they have no business being there, but the Bucs have a strong shot of hosting a home playoff game. Remember to thank the Raiders if they get there. This free win will surely go a long way in helping them out. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The NFC's road is still undecided. Detroit stays ahead with a crucial win over Green Bay, but Philly and Minnesota are still hot on their tail. Thanks to Atlanta's catastrophic implosion, Tampa Bay has reasserted itself for the NFC South lead. The Seahawks still remain on top of the NFC West, but things could be getting shaky there with a loss on Thursday. A bye week for Washington maintains their 7th seed, yet rivals remain. The Rams and Niners won in. There's a chance the Falcons could get their shit together. Arizona could make miracles happen. Probably not, but you aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
So much for a tight contest. Liquid LA's story unfolds like a timeshare salesman. Smooth talking and swap to start, then you get locked into a room for 8 hours and are forced to agree to their terms just to leave. The Buccaneers should have been a formidable opponent, but not like this. The first half is the smooth talking. A neck-and-neck bout playing right into the Chargers' strengths. Hell, they even have a lead headed into halftime. That was merely playing right into Tampa Bay's trap. The second half is a death sentence for the poor fools on their defense. Baker to Mike Evans go brrrr. What a combination. If you're a Browns fan, shield your eyes. Mayfield's embracing the underdog role and thriving at SoFi to the tune of over 500 yards of offense. Stout Harbaugh defense. A Justin Herbert bailout. Not tonight, buddy. This win all but seals the division for the Bucs. Which is surprising considering the sheer amount of attrition they've suffered throughout the season. Regardless, they persevered. And thanks to their resolve and Atlanta's impressive choking, they can do the impossible and absolutely hilarious. The NFC South is in their own hands. Crazy to think, but this has been a very strange year. You usually don't survive 4-game losing streaks. Well played. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. The number 1 seed in the NFC is now a 3-way tie. The Lions still have control, but the Eagles and Vikings are hot on their tail and coming fast. Philly can also claim the NFC East with a win or Washington loss, but the Eagles aren't going to implode, right? The NFC North is a mosh pit, made even more so by the attrition on Detroit. Minnesota or Green Bay could easily take it. But the NFC South is Tampa's to lose. Hopefully they won't choke it away like Atlanta did. The NFC West is between Seattle and the Rams with the Cards and Niners on life support. This division probably gets settled with a Week 18 showdown. The wild cards are all but set and can be officially claimed if Green Bay wins and Washington wins and gets help. The NFC especially is going to be a ride moving forward. Get ready. These words are going to come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
It's so damn Cowboys to finally start showing up and balling out the moment there's nothing to play for. Even against a team that has everything to lose in the Buccaneers, Dallas will bring them to heel with their goddamn B squad. Fantastic. Now the defense shows up. Now Cooper Rush goes back to his heroics as a backup wonder boy. The Bucs are without Antoine Winfield and more on defense, but why is this screaming Todd Bowles being outfoxed in every sense of the word?
CeeDee Lamb went ham against them in the first half. Even as the chances were there for Tampa to take hold of the game, they just can't overcome a relentless Cowboy assault. And especially if Baker gets forced into throwing arm punts late in the contest. Yet there's still a chance. Dallas is forced into a 3-and-out. Baker's cooking a fine Christmas dinner on the field, chipping away at the Cowboys bit by bit until eventually, pay dirt. A touchdown to put them only down by 2. Better yet, another 3-and-out by Dallas forces the issue. And we know Baker's gonna will them with everything he has.
Look at the pressure, look. Showing the pressure. Here it comes in the back. Jordan Lewis got there. Mayfield pitches it forward. Somehow he got it to White. Rashad White gets it gained into that. The ball taken away by the Cowboys.
I think I just heard all of Atlanta cheer in unison. Rashad White having the ball be ripped out of his hands and any chance at victory along with it. Now things are getting perilous because remember, the Falcons have tiebreaker. They once again hold the division lead. Atlanta may have a tough opponent in Washington, but Carolina's not a slouch anymore. It's an uphill battle from here thanks to Dallas's lost season. Just watch Jerry Boy pretend everything's fine and keep McCarthy around. The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The NFC East is still in play after Philly's shocking upset at the hands of Commies, but they aren't gonna blow this, right? But the NFC North and number 1 seed are intertwined. Lions and Vikings battling it out in the Great War of Life. Take a guess who plays one another in Week 18. This is where both are probably going to be decided. A curveball's been thrown into the NFC South. Tampa's loss and Atlanta's win make it all but a coin flip. But the Falcons have tiebreakers, so the Bucs are going to need help. LA now has firm control over the NFC West, especially since they have tiebreaker. They're going to need to lose twice and the Seahawks win twice for Seattle to make it. They do play in Week 18, though. Washington's pretty much got the last NFC wildcard spot, so the options are dwindling. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
Tampa Bay smells fear. They can sense the Panthers' despair in these hostile grounds. Upstart offense and Bryce Young's emergence be damned, the Buccaneers need a target after last week's flatlining. Lo and behold, the fresh meat currently wetting themselves at the sight of Baker Mayfield gutting his adversaries alive is the perfect target. Baker thrives as the underdog, but this may have been his magnum opus. 5 TDs, over 350 yards passing, and made Carolina stay out of sorts at every turn. Bryce did all right for himself today, but Mayfield was on an entirely different stratosphere. In the darkness, a new face emerges from the shadows. You've heard of the emergence of Bucky Irving this year? Meet Ducky Irving. His aura and charisma wills the special teams to blocked punts and return touchdowns. The rallying cry for a resurgence. A desperately needed win and morale boost to keep them alive in the playoff hunt. The Panthers can have all of their silver linings and positive trends. Tampa Bay has greater aspirations to attend to. One more victory. That's all it'll take to host another playoff game. This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs. On the other side, the NFC number 1 seed and the NFC North are tied up in a Week 18 contest. Vikings against Lions. Winner take all. Loser doomed to a wildcard spot. All or nothing, the best way to go. Meanwhile, the NFC South has been all but assured for Tampa Bay after last week's revelations. However, it's not fully secure. A loss to the Saints combined with the Falcons win gives it to Atlanta. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
Another major battleground is the NFC South. 2 teams fight for its bounty, but Atlanta's gonna need some help in this regard. They're gonna need it from New Orleans of all teams. Good luck with that. This pivotal matchup, the Buccaneers desperately need reinforcements. And the call has been answered. The Duck has returned. Can it play defense, perchance? Took down a bunch of men and Jordan Whitehead was in a serious car accident earlier in the week. Channeling their 4-game slump in the middle of the year, Tampa Bay is incredibly sluggish. Their battered defense isn't able to make any semblance of a stop, and they should feel lucky. If they faced a real offense, they'd be down by 20 early on. Not to mention the Bucs offense can't crack the end zone and are relegated to field goals. This is definitely not looking too good. And the Falcons can undo the collapse that put them in this spot. The Falcons only suffer inevitable death. This organization somehow still hasn't recovered from 28-3.
Miss.
Okay, so this didn't mean anything at all. But then again, this is New Orleans. We're starting Spencer Rattler and featuring Jawan Johnson, MVS, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That means the Saints offense is going to do pretty much nothing, despite countless opportunities gifted to them. It was only a matter of time before the powers of the Duck would take hold. Baker was able to corral them. Under his gutsy and tenacious play, Tampa Bay gains control of their own destiny and leaves nothing to chance. The Saints must convert to the cult of Ducky under penalty of death. Oh, glorious day to fire cannons away into their enemies everywhere. As the comeback is more than complete, witness the great fruits of a wondrous revival. Mike Evans breaking the 1,000-yard receiving barrier for the 11th season. There's also an NFC South title in there somewhere. You'll just have to look for it. The final stage is set. 14 teams remain and are ready to duel to the death. Only one shall remain. And the defending back-to-back contender receives a first-round bye to recharge their mana points for more bullshit. Gunning for revenge, Buffalo has a shot, but will have to take care of business against Denver first. The Ravens receive another showing of AFC North football. The rivalry with the Steelers will add another chapter after Pittsburgh's near-traditional collapse. Liquid LA usurps the 5th seed at the last moment and will travel to Houston to face an ailing fraud squad. In the NFC, the Lions stand tall, despite missing several limbs and vital organs. Coming in second, Philadelphia controls it and faces a team that's upended such a foe last season. Be careful with Green Bay. I'd also be careful if I were the commies. Tampa Bay's been playing with fire, and in their home stadium, it could be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Minnesota's forced to head to LA for a master versus apprentice showdown. Things are hopefully going to get spicy. Look at this duck. This bird is the key to Tampa Bay's success. Before he graced Raymond James with his majestic presence, the Bucs were in a world of trouble. Picked off by apex injuries one by one. Losing 4 games in a row. Being swept by those damn Falcons. It's over? Sorry, Baker couldn't hear you. He's too busy dicing up defenses with the best play of his career. No running game? Tell that to Bucky Irving. Sleeper offense with quality talents when they aren't turning the ball over at any given time. It probably has more to do with the pathetic division they're in, but the Bucs are still a formidable team to face. If only they weren't dealing with attrition. Let's see, no Godwin, an injured secondary, no true edge rushers. Welcome to the second tier, Bucs. I don't know if it's going to be the wild card, but someone's feasting on roast duck this January. This season has taken us from football heaven to the depths of unwatchable hell. When there's money to be made, the product does not matter. Yet the playoffs are a different beast. In the end, there can be only 2 contenders dueling for the ultimate prize. I'm not even going to try to be optimistic it's going to be Chiefs versus Eagles. The matchup no one outside those cities want because the football gods desire salt. They're shitposters at heart. Very predictable ones, but I respect the dedication. We all hope for something different, but we said that last year. Look what happened. Regardless, good luck to all teams involved. You're probably going to need it. Unfortunately, when you don't get the benefit of NFC South punching bags, it's a little tougher to secure wins. The commies were an evenly matched opponent, and it turned into a fight throughout the contest, but in the end, they just didn't have enough. It's always fun when you aren't at full ability and have plenty of chances to win, especially if the commies keep going for it on 4th down. Never ended up like that, unfortunately. It honestly came down to one fuck-up. Baker and Jalen McMillan botching a handoff. That undid any sort of plan they had the moment Jayden Daniels drove it through their hearts. This game was the epitome of the Todd Bowles experience. Playing not to lose, yet being burned by it at every opportunity. Safe run on 3rd and short, they botched the snap count. Tried to make a tackle, but grabbed the towel instead. They've been running through this cycle all the way to the game-winning field goal.
The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is in!
They pull the fucking Chiefs! That's a way to win your first playoff victory in almost 20 years. Pour one out for the poor duck. He was delicious.